At the end of every unit, your teacher has the chance to teach a lesson about other lessons and their context to enhance. But what do you suppose a teacher has us do? He skips the lesson, makes us present a digital LEQ. Elocution needs historical evidence, reasoning that can corroborate and advance a complex thesis Dr. P. Irish would admire. Then we drop the screencast like a single as file. Student created screencast for you to like and subscribe and share. We know you've all had John Green and Steve Hellmeyer. You can bet. If we have the most views by 10 p.m. Eastern. On the 5th day, we earned 500 bonus points, which virtually guarantees an A without much more fanware and ado. We present our digital.
Greetings. An AP Modern World History LEQ, a comparison of two cultures. Today we will find out the answers to the main cause for comparison between epidemics in both the Americas and Eurasia, whether the epidemics in Eurasia were worse than in America or similar. As a group, we collaboratively agreed that throughout history, the Eurasian epidemic, known commonly as the Black Plague, as epidemics in the Americas compared in the entire process, effects and impact reached the same magnitude. The first piece of evidence we have is a visually pleasing one. As you view it, take into account the areas which the maps encompass. The first map to the top right is Eurasia/Europe, which is a visual guide to the spread of the Black Plague and how one virus damaged not only Europe, but parts of Africa as well. The lower left map is similar to the Columbian Exchange because of the exchange traded death as well as goods. The multiple viruses in the Columbian Exchange and the Black Plague during European Middle Ages were caused by trade and land increases, exemplifying the similarity between both epidemics. Continuing, we have a 16th century Aztec drawing depicting the Aztec people dying of smallpox, which was brought by the Spaniards that arrived in Mexico. The image supports the idea that at least one disease which was introduced affected the people living there and would be big enough to go to an area which was shown on the map earlier. The European invasion of the Americas was impactful there, but what about Europe? The next piece of art is an Ethiopian mural made in the 17th century. The main purpose of the mural is to show a priest attempting to get rid of the Black Plague in Ethiopia. The disease, as shown here, is an example of how far the plague spread and the effects it had on cultures in Africa, far south from where the plague had mainly hit. A connection can be made to the last piece of evidence as other cultures had to adapt to European ways, whether it be immunity to a disease, European medicine, or prayers to get rid of the disease. The Black Plague was an epidemic that affected Europe in many ways. Two major ways the Black Plague affected Europe is economically and the mass population of a people. These outcomes are actually linear to each other. Since the population is decreasing because of the Black Plague, the economy suffers as well. The more people die, the fewer people there are going to harvest, sell, trade, and even work in general. The Americas, or some people may call it the New World, was a place of minimal or no diseases. The Columbian Exchange was the reason that caused Native Americans to suffer from smallpox, measles, influenza, typhus, and more. The Columbian Exchange was when there was a huge widespread of trades. The Columbian Exchange was beneficial in way, for example, the Americas gained new animals and crops. The animals that the Europeans traded the Native Americans were contaminated with diseases. Native Americans were at a huge disadvantage because Native Americans didn't know how to combat the new diseases properly, because their medication and techniques were no match to what they were facing at the time. However, why do we use these sources? Evidence 2 shows how only one disease affected an entire population. Evidence 3 shows the point of view in Ethiopia on the Black Plague. And evidence 5 shows the point of view of an outside source. So back to the question in the beginning of the video. The first question is, what is the main cause for comparison between the epidemics in both the Americas and Eurasia? The second question is, the impacts of the epidemics worse in Eurasia or in the Americas? Pause the video to answer. Hello. A possible answer you could have had for the first question was the trading. The trading had caused much of the epidemics that had arisen in both the Americas and Eurasia. The second question is a complete ambiguous question. It is subjective to who is answering it. Our thesis had stated that the epidemics were equal in magnitude. But what do you believe?